Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be going over Hell Demon King. This is my video here, my stream I did yesterday, as you can see here, it's my stream. And we're going to be going over Hell. Okay, that's why I got wiped. If you don't know, when I was streaming this, Demon King was actually bugged. There is no actual
What can
audio.
I do?
Let me just give myself a little bit of background audio. So you can hear me a little bit now in the background. Yeah, it wiped. That's because there's currently a bug. Basically, if you had an attack-related stat buff, you should have missed it. But because I didn't have an attack-related stat buff, it just didn't work. You can hear me in the background a little bit as well, complaining about how irritating that one is. So, running over this team. So this is the Sins team. Currently, I don't actually show my unknown team, but I can just show you it now. Basically, Melee's attack crit down, HP defense, HP defense, HP defense. Sorrel's attack crit down, everyone else is a HP defense link. I'm running attack food, and for the card set, I'm running the Sins damage reduction card set. Let me now show you the unknown team. Whoa! Back to Grand Cross. Basically, this is the unknown team I was using at the time. I actually did do it with two different teams. I'll show you the other team afterwards. It's not really too big of a difference. Of course, HP defense with Ratamia Link. Ratamia Link is very important on her. HP defense, attack crit down. And this team actually tanks quite well. The only person who may struggle to tank is Nanashi, but Freya tanks completely fine. Shuna tanks extremely well. Albedo tanks also well as well. We're running what we're using for the card set. It is the unknown attack increase card set, so getting more attack for Albedo. But yeah, once again, I was running attack food. And now let's get into it. Here we are. So, let me increase the speed a little bit, and then what I will do is I will stop it at parts that I believe. Let's turn off the audio, but I'll stop at parts that I believe are quite important. So, the first bit that's actually quite important is I always like to start with Sins. So the reason I always like to start with Sins is because on the second turn you're basically guaranteed that he's going to use a skill which is like an AoE. What the AoE does is it disables all your characters. It gives you the disable effect for all your characters unless you have an attack-related stat buff. So, Melee technically gives himself an attack-related stat buff, but because the buff is not labelled as attack-related stats, you still get disabled. It's kind of stupid. But, as you can see here, Demon King always goes first. No matter what you do, Demon King will always go first. Also, if you get 6 debuffs on you, he like attack disables you and like, I want to say debuff disables as well, which you may actually see. Once again, like Melee removes half the buffs. You can see he has 6.8 million HP turn 1, 47,000 defense, and 24,000 attack. Also, you cannot use goddesses because he does, I think, 500% more damage to goddesses. Also, for every turn, so every time it becomes his turn, he gets 10% extra attack, as you can see here, which caps up to 10 times, which means he can double his attack. This is just me, yeah, there it is there. This is me talking to stream at the time, me currently complaining about this thing. Because like, he also gives himself 40% defense related stats. As well as once again, I switched to Albedo's team. The reason I switched to this team is because, once again, I have to follow this. This team has a cleanse skill. It's also got the debuff, and it's got an attack skill as well, so it's completely fine. But the reason I Albedo counter turn 1 is mainly just so that she can just start tanking immediately. And then, at the end of this turn, you will see the effect of... So Albedo always gives himself attack-related stat buff. You'll see the effect, which should be now. If you watch this skill here, this skill is the one that will delete skills as well as disable you. But it misses because Albedo has an attack-related stat boost. And he has a lot of gimmicks like that. Mid-counter with Albedo, but he has a lot of gimmicks that are like, oh, if you have a crit damage increase buff, you don't, like, your team doesn't get, the effect will miss, sort of thing. But there is currently a bug with that I went over in the developer notes. Basically, they found out there's a bug on the second phase where his ultimate still hits, even though you have, like, the correct thing, it still hits. It's a problem currently with the game. It doesn't miss, you still get hit by it, and it's like the strongest ult in the game. It basically one-shots you. And then here I follow the pattern here, which will then send Wild in, and Wild do a lot of damage. They go, once again, increasing my pierce rate as well, which is nice for Albedo. Every buff really is good. Level 2 Albedo counter, that's nice. I switched back to Sins team, because I tried to get an extra buff skill, because I needed a buff, an attack, and then another buff. I'm pretty sure I don't get it. Which I'm pretty sure I get disabled here. So he attacks me. Also, every time you attack, you get the corrosion stack. The corrosion can stack up to 10 times and it's 3%, and it's not your remaining HP, it's max HP. It means that this corrosion can kill you if you're not careful. If you're wondering how you get rid of the corrosion, if you do the correct symbols with Wild, when Wild comes in, he cleanses you, and it's really nice. Which you may see here. I don't think I do it on this turn. Yeah, like he disables me here. This is the disable and delete skills. I did get the extra buff skill. That's nice. But because Goth is disabled, I still don't get the actual effect, but I do get the basic stats from him. As you can see here, I'll cleanse as well. Boom, all the corrosion gets cleansed, and I get more buffs as well. I double stance up, and I think at this point I'm trying to rush Diane's ult, because Diane does a lot of healing. Diane's ult's quite nice for the healing. Blackout, so his Blackout ult, it lasts for 2 turns, and it's basically everything except ultimates. It's really irritating. Here, once again, we'll remove skills. But then melee cleanses. That's the good thing about melee, is that melee actually cleansed a lot of the stuff there. As you can see here, misses when you have an attack-related stat buff. Melee's buff is technically attack-related stats, but because it's not called attack-related stat buff, you don't actually evade it, which is kind of irritating. It's actually quite... all Melee's buff does is give him attack-related stats. Like this one here, it gives him attack-related stats, but because it's not called attack-related stats, you don't actually get the effect, you don't actually get to evade from it, which is kind of irritating. Let's go in here and see Melee do huge damage. 1.3. Melee himself, if you get a gold skill, you can basically like one-shot this phase. This phase is so easy in comparison to the next one. But there is a gimmick in the next phase that as long as you know how to deal with it, it's completely fine. I think this is me contemplating what to do, because I wasn't sure if I should try and kill it. Because I could probably... Actually, I think I do actually try and go for the kill. Yeah, this is 4.4 million, which is like a lot of damage. Okay, on to the second phase. So, he's currently immortal. I know you probably struggle to see that, but he is immortal currently. And what this basically means is that after you do the cycle 3 times, the rules 3 times, well, you don't have to do it, you just go 3 cycles of the rules, really. And then he loses that immortality buff, which is kind of nice. If you drop him below 40%, he gets a HP-related stat buff, and he heals like 2.6 million passively. If you drop him to below 10%, he loses the HP-related stat buff. So that's really your main goal, is you want to get him below 10%, but not below 40%. Which is kind of hard, because it's like 3 million damage difference. Also, this phase also has a D rank skill, which is kind of irritating. I don't know why, but for some reason they believe that it's good enough to have a D rank skill when you need certain rank of skills. You need like level 3s and stuff. He also got an attack related stat buff then. I'm pretty sure he might get that passively, like every time you deal X amount or when you get him below X amount. Yeah, so this infect skill, that debuff that you see here, that you saw here, that debuff there above Diane is the same one as Demon King. As the actual character Demon King. Which is kind of irritating. Once again, melee cleanses the whole team, which is kind of nice. I don't have a level 2 and I can't actually get level 2. Oh, no, I can. I had to smart it. I did actually smart it. At this time, I was like sort of distracted, so if I make any misplays, I was talking to chat, so I was kind of distracted and not really caring about anything. There we go. He gets stunned this turn, which is nice. 2, 3, 1. Okay. Which is doable, because I have a lot of skills. And it's mainly what you want to do, is you want to switch between the teams, so you can sort of like not leave. So what I had a bad habit of basically just leaving teams for. Oh yeah, so this is the current. That's the ultimate that's currently glitched. This one here, I'm pretty sure this is the one that's glitched. Basically, when you have a crit damage increase effect, which you get from doing the color, not the color thing, but like the rule, the effect is meant to miss, but it doesn't, and it just wipes your entire team because it releases all the corrosion as well as doing a lot of damage and blackouts you for 2 turns. It's basically a one-shot kill. Yeah, and this is where I'm checking like the attack. I have a crit damage increase buff, which is the same with what Albedo gives. That's what Albedo's ult gives her. There we go, and then once again I'm just trying to drop its HP because preferably I want to get it just below. Just above 40%, and then switch to Albedo team, pop a level 2 Albedo counter, and then pray that she kills. Because this phase will also apply a a stance, which means you're going to do 1 damage, and every time you hit the stance, you give yourself Oxidize, which basically means deranks your entire hand, and then does 20% of your max HP per card it deranks. Plus, it'll also give itself a pierce buff as well. Melee is quite clutch against dealing with it. If Demon King ults, I do get wiped here because I don't actually have. Yeah, this is the stance. But basically, I would have got wiped if I didn't have a crit damage buff. I'm pretty sure this team does get wiped in this next turn. And I just go for the golden upgrade to see if I can tank it. There we go, do 1.7, and this we can see the healing. He healed a lot. He went from like 20% to here. You see it wiped my team. And now we switch to the Albedo team, which was I was actually really lucky here. I had just enough to do the thing. I had like the perfect cards. World comes in, stuns, which isn't really a problem. I'm pretty sure I just go for I just try and increase my pierce rate. There we go. He does heal a little bit, but that's fine. Bang! Albedo does 1 mil. She then does another 1 mil. Does she drop him below 10%? No, I think I drop him below 10%. So what I do now is I then I Albedo counter. I say screw it and I Albedo counter. I basically rely on Albedo. Albedo is like really broken for this. I have at times where like she's like 3-shot the first phase with a counter, which is insane. I have lots of buffs at this point. Albedo's basically all these buffs. She has an amplified counter, so she's doing 30% more damage per per buff she has. I think 1.6 million with the level 1 counter, which won me it. And then I will now show you the second team I used. I won't show you the full run, but I'll show you the team. Okay, and now let me come here. What I then ended up doing in the end was actually switching out Freya for Gowther on this team, so I had a reliable upgrade. Mainly for the first phase, really, so I could use this team more in the first phase. And so if I got Albedo counters, I could level them up. I did actually use this team, and the reason I did win is because I did pull a golden Albedo counter, but, you know, that's just how it is. And I also gave him Liz Link, because my Liz has a lot of CC over thing. And then, because I do have the new Merlin relic, so Festival Merlin, I think my brain's here, like, who shall I use? I'm sort of thinking about Sin characters I can use, because of course I want synergy for melee. When do I decide to go with Merlin? Here it is. I have a Merlin, of course I have a Relic as well, and then what I then do is go for HP defense for her, just so she can tank, really. And then, of course, she'll be providing my team with just basic stats, really, which is what this team really wants. Melee gets more damage, Yan is just able to tank better, and it's just worth it. And it's just me looking for links here. But I use the same card sets. Really, nothing has changed. Once again, I use attack food. So yeah, that's the 2 teams I use. Of course, these teams aren't very free-to-play friendly, but Hell Demon King is not free-to-play friendly at all. Extreme is actually not too bad and it's very easy in comparison to Hell, which is horrible. It's a very bad experience. I streamed for like, did you see 2 hours 50 minutes, but of course some of this was actually Labyrinth. So if we count Labyrinth, when did I actually start doing Demon King? Like here. So I spent like 2 hours 20 minutes-ish, 2 hours 10 minutes-ish, and I only done it 3 times. So it's quite painful, but of course, because I was streaming, I was talking to chat and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't too bad. But, of course, if you do have the ability to make this team, you know, you've got a decent box CC, you're quite high Constellation, I highly recommend doing this, as it's quite easy. Once again, if you want to know what my gear set is on Merlin, Merlin's currently rocking HP defense, and Gowther on the other team is rocking HP defense as well. Anyway, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed, I'll see you next one, goodbye.